G'day everyone, and welcome back to Powersthetics Fitness, helping you to build your body to both look and perform at its best. In today's video, we'll be looking over all the major core exercises, determine which ones are good, which ones may not be worth your time, and which ones you'll get the most out of. So let's jump into it. So the way that this tier list will work is that we'll go through each of the exercises down here, putting them between A and C tier, and then from there we'll be deciding which ones I think are the top 3 if you can only do 3 exercises in your workout program, which ones I would recommend. I'll also give one I think that is the most underrated, as well as the one that I think it's still good, but I think it's a little bit overrated. Obviously all these exercises are good, hence why there's only A through C tier, no D tier or F tier, as they're all good exercises. Just a good way to sort of compare and contrast and see which one you're going to get the most out of. So let's start off right with the classic plank. A very good exercise, great one for stability, as a lot of the time the core's main purpose is for stabilization. A lot of the time people will try to use like twisting the core and moving up and down sort of thing, whereas I think the plank is a very good one because it's good to just like do its true function of stability. Obviously it's a good way to build up endurance. I think that the only real negative is that eventually it may become too easy for in the first minute or so. It would be a bit of a breeze for most people, but you can definitely make it harder by adding on a weight vest, add some plates to your back, and just to keep it more intense and interesting. And so I'm going to be putting it in the A tier. It's definitely a go-to for me. Moving on, we're going to be doing the V hold, one which I think is definitely a very underrated exercise. It's one which is very good for stability, where you're on your glutes and you're going to be holding your legs and your upper body up in the air. For this, I'm going to be putting it in the B tier, definitely underlooked a lot of the time. I think that's very good stabilization exercise as well. In general, I think that's definitely overlooked. In fact, yeah, I'm going to put it in the A tier. Why not? It's a very good exercise, so why not? Moving on to the sit-up, definitely one of the most iconic core exercises, and I'm not going to lie, very overrated. I think that it's definitely good, but I think that a lot of the time it's used for testing core strength, especially in military, see how many sit-ups you can do, as well as fitness classes. I just think that it's a bit of an overrated one. I think that it's obviously good, but I think that it's just only works the upper core to a degree, and obviously puts a bit of strain on your lower back in an unnecessary way. So I'm going to be putting it in the C tier. Moving on to the butt up, basically what I think is the better alternative to the sit up, as it works a lot more of the lower core, and I think it's just better in general. I saw it on a instructional video once, and I tried them out, and they're just so effective. It's basically the better version of the leg lift or the sit up, as it works more of the lower core, which is something which I think is often overlooked. And yeah, very underrated exercise, and it's going to be going into the top of the B tier. Very good for the core. And now we're going to be moving more onto the oblique sides instead of the abs. So starting off with the Russian twist, great exercise for the obliques. You can either do it with just body weight and keeping your legs in the air and twisting side to side, or you can do it with an extra weight where you move it side to side. Great for building up strength and building up your obliques, as well as hypertrophy, and just good for athletes as well. I think definitely one of the best oblique exercises for that. So it's going in the A tier. Moving on to the bicycle crunches. These are very good exercises as well for the obliques as well as the abs to a degree. However, I do think that it's a lot more of a good for cardio and endurance, so I think there's not that much emphasis placed on the core, as there's a very high amount of movement unless you go really slow, which definitely is an option, but I just think that it's a bit limited in that case, and therefore it's going to be going in the B tier. Good exercise, but not as good as the ones in the A tier. Moving on to the windscreen wipers. These are where you're going to be on your back and just be twisting side to side, similar to a leg lift, except more emphasis on the obliques. Very good exercise, very much overlooked a lot of the time, and therefore it's going to be going in the B tier above the bicycle crunch. Just overall very solid exercise, and therefore we'll be going there. Finally, we're going to be moving on to the Supermans. These are going to be for the often overlooked part of the core, which is the lower back. Because often a lot of people think of the abs, maybe even the oblique sort of thing, just the aesthetic, whereas the core is just that overall area that is controls the lower back sort of thing and stabilization. And I think that that's often overlooked, and therefore I think Supermans are a very, very important exercise to include as it hits the lower back. There's obviously other options, but just when it comes to pure core, I think this is a very good one, and therefore it'll be going in the bottom of the A tier. And there we go. Those are the main exercises. We will now be declaring the top 3, which ones I recommend. And for that, I'm going to be going with the plank. I think it's a very good stabilization for the abs and the overall core as well. You could also do the V hold, but I just think the plank is just generally better. It's better, easier to progress if you need with extra weight, and it's also good for beginners as well. Next, I'm going to choose an exercise for the obliques, and therefore we'll be going with the Russian twists. I think it's a great way as well, similarly, to progress. I think that it can be very good for building up good, strong, fast obliques, while also just like as well being very aesthetically pleasing. And finally, we're going to be doing the Superman's, great for the lower back, and just a great choice in general. All right, now we're going to be moving over to the most underrated pick, and for that, it's going to be going to, it could be one of two. It could be either the butt up or the VE hold, but I'm going to be going with the butt up, as it's very rarely talked about, but I think it's like basically the better version of the sit up or the leg lift, as the fact that you have to get your butt off the ground means you're going to be working more of your core instead of your hip flexors. And for the most overrated, I think it's pretty obvious by now, it's going to be the sit up. It's good, like, but I just think there's much better options, and it's often seen as the go-to core exercise, either that or the plank, whereas the plank I think is definitely better for stabilization as well. So there we have it. And there we have it. If you found this video helpful, be sure to drop a like. If you have any comments or any disagreements with anything that happened in the list, be sure to let me know down below in the comments. And if you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want your own tailored program where I break everything down for you, be sure to check it out on the website, link in the description down below.